he needs that 4% to be a concession to buy down his interest rate, to make the property more affordable, and to pay for his closing costs. However, I still need to be compensated here. I want to negotiate Kenneth a 4% concession, the seller credit, and I want to negotiate myself in the offer a 2%, 2.5% a commission, right? So we can do those things separately. So now Kenneth still gets to use his 4% eligibility for the seller concession to fund the things that he needs to fund, and the seller is still gonna pay me my commission, and then now everybody walks away from the deal happy because now Kenneth gets his home. And the bottom line with the seller is that they're concerned about getting their net number of how much they're bringing home. And that's where, a lot of times it gets very nuanced. And again, that's why professionals are very important, high-level professionals, because that's all they care about. It's like, hey, yeah, I'm selling this home for $500,000, but I owe $200,000 on the home. I'm gonna get roughly, $250,000 after I pay all my fees. It's like they got a lot of room to eat in that scenario, right? So giving me an extra $10,000 or so to make sure that property is sold, they'll rather do that because they don't want to go pay that mortgage for another month or two and leave that home on the market, right? So it's just about negotiation. It's about transparency. So a lot more transparency and a lot more difficult conversations are being had on both sides now because everybody has to talk about the numbers, right? And how much people are getting paid and negotiating that. And then, ethical points of how much am I going to push? Because maybe I try to ask for them to give me 3%, and they're like, well, no, I could give Ken a 4%, and I could give you 2%. And it's like, well, take a percentage from Kenneth and we get 3. It's like, well, no, that's not in the best interest of my client, so I shouldn't be doing that. But now that's going to be transparent in that, right? Because now we have to write the offer in that way. I wrote an offer that said 4% seller concession and 3% for me, and they countered and said 4% for Kenneth and 2 for me. And instead of before, it would be a backhanded deal where, okay, they want to pay a total of 6%. It's like, oh, great, Kenneth, guess what? They offered you 3% for seller concession. You're so happy about that, but you didn't know they really were willing to give you 4%, but I took that extra 1% to put it in my pocket.
Wow. The real estate game is always a little tricky.
Yeah, it's always a little tricky, yeah.
But you really touched on something that I want to always make sure that we reiterate here. At Veterans for Veterans, it's the fiduciary responsibility to make sure that the veteran veteran buyer is always protected. That responsibility is number one.
Absolutely.
Because we're here to serve. We're here to serve. Just because we're talking about a different entitlement to you, it doesn't change. We're here to serve. So with that said, you made a great point there. But I did want to also touch on, this is so informative for agents, lenders, title companies, just everyone, because now you understand how to negotiate without, again, dropping or losing the deal.
Yes.
If you don't have this information, how are you able to negotiate? A lot of people are going to go to the most common facets, right? Oh, well, you can, first off, you can, put more of a down payment, which veterans, that's something that we won't make sure we stress at all, okay? But there's so many creative strategies that has not been used and is only going to come with vetted and years of experience. So join the community. You're going to get a lot of that there.
Absolutely. You're going to get a lot of resources, right? Because we have resources for veterans here, and of course on the VA website, they have a lot of resources about this information as well. So definitely not only take our word for it, look in the details, right? We're giving you the overview of all this information, and this information is ever changing, okay? We're putting this information out in late 2024. You may be watching this in 2025, 2026, and the policies and the nuances of this program have changed, maybe even went away, right? So you want to always look at the new regulatory information. The VA has the VA has their information on their website regarding the loan guarantee service. So check that information out. It's going to have the different details regarding what you need to do for these programs. Again, we cannot stress enough, reach out to experienced real estate agents who specialize in VA loans, okay? Those are going to be the individuals that are going to guide you through this process, because frankly, agents are sometimes so happy to get a buyer. They're like, yeah, I can help you with your VA loan. It's the same as the FHA or a regular house. And as Kenneth could attest, no, it's not.
Ooh. Yeah, the VA is a little bit different, and it's a whole guide, handbook, and also ebook that we produce for your information to know that the VA loan is different. But that's exciting, man. That's exciting.
Yeah, very exciting. So, yeah, again, stay abreast of these resources. Definitely thank you guys for watching. Thank you for tuning in here. Reach out with any questions that you have. Our number here is listed on the screen. And as always, prepare to compete. We're out. Peace.